Welcome back, guys. Like we said in our last vlog, we are dedicating this whole vlog to the review of the Carnival Vista. If you haven't watched our last vlog, by all means, I'm going to link it here. Go take a look at it. It's kind of a mashup of some videos and photos of our trip that we took on the Carnival Vista.
Why don't you tell them about our cruise?
So we did a 7-day cruise out of Galveston. It is still docked in Galveston now. So we did 2 full days at sea. We did a day at Montego Bay, Jamaica, a day at the Grand Cayman, and then a day at Cozumel, followed by a full sea day back to Galveston. So another interesting fact about this cruise is we were guests of the casino. So we were actually premier status. And the casino cruises have multiple different levels, and we were on a premier cruise. So there's only a certain amount of premier guests that are allowed to book on a cruise because there are so many raffles and games that you play in the casino that they don't want to over dilute it.
And we'll get to that in the casino portion
we'll talk more about
the video.
Ryan's actually going to give you some stats on the ship itself.
So the Carnival Vista joined or was built in 2016, and the Carnival Vista, like Travis said, sells their itineraries start and end in Galveston. The ship has 15 decks, and it can hold 3,934 passengers. And also, there are 1,450 crew members on board. So a lot of souls on board.
Yeah.
And to put it in perspective of how long it is, it's 1,055 feet long. It is right under 3 football field length-wise. And it is a massive ship.
It is a massive ship.
And there are a lot of people on it. And when we booked our cruise, we didn't realize that we booked on Easter Sunday was the day we set sail. And I thought that might work in our favor, and maybe there wouldn't be as many kids because, you know, school's in session that week. But there were still a lot of kids on board. And tell us about the interior of the ship.
Yeah, so our last cruise that we went on was on the Carnival Victory. So it's an older ship. We were already expecting the Victory to have the older interiors. We know that they update them every so often, but there's only so much that they do. So when we booked on the Vista, we had seen photographs and pictures, and we were super excited about the more modern interior. That I feel like Carnival kind of was late to the game on that. Every other cruise company had already started, you know, modernizing their ships and their cabins. So when we walked on board, it was kind of everything that we had hoped for. It was clean, modern, very neutral in color. But while we talk about walking onto the ship, one thing that is new to the Vista class ships is the removal of the glass elevators in that grand atrium, which we already knew that going into it. So many cruisers are so heartbroken that that is no longer there because you don't walk into this grandiose, you know, atmosphere. But it's still pretty cool. They replaced that with a kind of an LED funnel-shaped dreamscape that kind of just transitions through photographs and sets the mood in the atrium.
But the ship itself, the hallways are very bright.
Yeah.
The floor is nice tile, and the carpet was nice. So that all was awesome. I think it was even better in person. All these YouTube videos don't give it justice. And even like deck 5, we love to walk around deck 5 on the outer side walkway, and there's a whole bunch of different sitting areas, you know, that had lounge chairs or some chairs and tables. And so we'd go out there and sit and, you know, meet other guests. And then we would also go up to the front of the ship and just see oceans for miles and miles and miles, just blue water, and this crystal blue water. And matter of fact, one time we went out there and he had his ball cap on, and we almost lost it basically.
Yeah, it
It
got
went
windy
flying
out
off. And so, yeah, definitely if you go up there, make sure everything is secure because it will be windy in the forward part. But yeah, we did like that part of it as well. So why don't you tell them about our room? So we stayed in State's room 1346. And it's kind of a unique cabin, and he'll explain why.
So the cabin we stayed in, like Ryan said, was 1346, and we like to say that because so many cruisers like to ask, hey, who has stayed in this room? So if you're booking in 1346, here you go. So 1346 is a deluxe ocean view room, and what that is yes, it's an ocean view room. You have a window outside. The only main difference is you get an added bathroom. It's not a half bath, it's like a 3/4 bath. There is a vanity sink and a junior tub, and then you also have your full bath with the stand-up shower, the toilet area, and the vanity. So it's great for families. If you have small kids and you like giving them tub baths, it's great for that. It utilizes that. For us, it was great because we could both get ready at the same time and not be crowding each other. So it was fantastic. So while we were talking about the interior of the main ship itself, we were excited to see what our room was going to look like. I mean, we had watched videos. We kind of knew what the interior was, but we were under the impression that it was going to be renovated at some point. But clearly not when we sailed. So we walked into our room, and it was the exact same interior as we had on the Carnival Victory, which is, it's a great ship, but it's an old ship, and we already knew that going into it. So our main concern was like, why would you have this stunning, beautiful interior on the ship, in the main parts of the ship, but then still have your old, outdated looking cabins? I mean, we had the green carpet, it had the blue plastic vanities, all of the furniture was this brown, light brown oak with the orange.
Whitewash almost.
Yeah, it's
the light oak.
The orange wallpaper.
Traveling for my job, I haven't stayed in a hotel that has that light wood furniture. I mean, most have gone to the dark woods, the walnuts, and the dark trim, and that just dates it.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was modern and darker, I mean, it would be a lot nicer.
Yeah. And they are modernizing their cabins. Like, for example, the Mardi Gras that's coming out, it is. But it's not even close to setting sail. So that's why I say that Carnival, I think, is late to the game on this aspect, where there's other ships out there that have already gone above and beyond.
And also, speaking of that, so the Vista is a new line of ships that Carnival has been putting out. So it was the Vista, the Horizon, and the Panorama is coming out in December 11th. It sells out of Long Beach. The Horizon was in Long Beach, but now it is in Miami. And they are pretty much the same ship, except the Horizon has the Bonsai Teppanyaki restaurant, which we'll get into in a second with the restaurants on board the Vista. But other than that, it is the same ship. It has the same water slides. It has the same sky ride, all that. But back to our room, the one thing that I was disappointed on our first cruise, the Carnival Victory, we also had an ocean view room. And the disappointment was when we got to the ship, the window was really dirty, and you weren't really able to film outside the window because of the film that was the buildup on the windows. And that was the same kind of disappointment with our room when we first walked in. You had the film on it. And I understand, obviously, you're on water and you're around the salt water, and that is going to happen. However, I wish that they were able to wash the windows and stuff like that, but I guess they have no way of doing that, or it's not cost effective for Carnival. And then just the fabric colors, you know, the blues and the yellows and the golds, and it just.
I mean, it's signature Carnival, don't get me wrong, but it's time to
update.
Yeah, it's time to
So it'll be interesting to see what the Panorama comes out with. Overall, I mean, there was great space in a room. It would be a good room for families, having that extra almost half bath. Or if you're cruising with cruise buddies or friends, you know, you have the 2 rooms to get ready.
Or if you have a wife who likes to hog a bathroom, it's good just because, you know, I appreciate it, but one thing that was odd to me is I would rather have 1 shower and 2 toilets versus 1 toilet and 2 showers. That's just my own personal opinion.
Yeah.
I didn't build the ship, but
especially because you have that makeup vanity desk set up. That would have been smart if they didn't do the second vanity. So overall, I think I would give it our room. I would give it a 4-star. I mean, like he said, it's true Carnival's fashion, and it was spacious and
it served its purpose.
Yeah, and we were able to. I mean, we took advantage of watching movies and getting room service in the morning and waking up and stuff. So, yeah, it did. It definitely served its purpose.
Yeah. So now we're gonna move on to dining on the ship. Carnival ships have no shortage of dining options, but it's definitely interesting at the quality of one place to another. So first and foremost, the buffet. Everyone knows about cruise buffets. It's interesting.
The Lido Marketplace buffet.
Yeah, deck.
The Lido deck.
Was deck 10?
No, it was higher than that.
Okay, so I feel like whenever we go on cruises, we know better than to have high expectations, but we always have such high expectations for the buffet food. And so I feel like we're always let down just a little bit, but I feel like that's our own fault for expecting greatness when you're trying to feed thousands of people at one time.
Yeah, and we take all that into consideration. Yeah, the Lido deck was definitely, if you can live off of coleslaw and potato salad, which we obviously can't live off that, but that seemed to be our go-to thing every time we went there, whether it be dinner time or lunchtime. So yeah, the Lido deck, I personally would probably only give it a 3-star.
Yeah, I'd have to say the same thing. And it's like they had different selections at different times of the day, but like you just said, they always had the same potato salad. They always had the same coleslaw. They always had the same desserts. It just...
And it was really salty, and it was bad enough we're at sea, and we're trying to drink a lot of water. And yeah, it just... Some of the meat was dried out. So it definitely... It can be improved upon. So there's 2 main dining rooms, and we happen to be in the Horizon dining room, which it's a really neat location. It's in the aft part of the ship, and it has great windows, and so your view is the back of the ship. And so we were able to see a sunset one night at dinner. We celebrated my birthday one night in the dining room, and why don't you tell us about our service?
Yeah. So I feel like we came on board with a higher expectation for the buffet and a lower expectation for the formal dining rooms. And I say that because on our last cruise on the Victory, the food in the dining room was great, but service was absolutely so slow. And I get it. There's so many moving parts. There's so many people trying to eat it all at one time. So we were kind of going into it with the same idea that it was going to be slow service. But I guess it was just the time of day we went, or the actual days that we went. Service flow was fantastic. I mean, our wait staff was on it. We never had to wait more than a few minutes for courses to come out. It was fantastic. And while we're talking about the dining room, we chose the anytime dining option. So you have a choice between 2 dining times or anytime dining. When we were on the Victory, we also chose anytime dining. And you were able just to show up at your dining room at any time you wanted and be set for a table. So we thought it was the same way on the Vista, but we were wrong. We showed up to the dining room and we're like, okay, we're ready to eat. And they said, do you have a table already? And we had no idea what they were talking about. So apparently on the larger ships, you have to go to the maitre d's desk, which is on a different level from the dining rooms. We have to go to the maitre d's desk, let them know, hey, I'm ready to eat, and they put your name in for a table. Whenever your table is ready, you get to eat. So night one, we did that. We went up to the maitre d's desk. The line was wrapped around the ship. We were like, we weren't prepared for this. Let's just go to the buffet. We'll know for tomorrow. Get a table. But one thing we found out is that on the Carnival Hub app, you're actually able to skip the whole maitre d' process and request a table from the app. So once your table is ready, you'll get a notification saying, "Hey, head to the dining room. Your table is ready." And that was such a smooth process. It was fantastic. Kudos to you, Carnival, for getting more digital. That was definitely a good thing.
We did get to go to the Italian restaurant. What's the name?
So we went to Casino del Capitano, which was the Italian restaurant on the ship. It is not included in the cruise price. It is an extra added fee. But I mean, it was absolutely fantastic.
Oh my gosh, it was wonderful.
It was worth it. Service was fantastic.
Everything was fresh. It was spot on. What did you feel about Guy's Burgers?
I mean, Guy's Burgers.
Because I know everybody loves Guy's Burgers.
I mean, Guy's Burgers is the same on every ship. I like the burger. It's a solid burger.
And it's fresh. It's made right then and there, and you get to load it up with the condiments and stuff. I mean, it's not Whataburger, or it's not In-N-Out, or it's not P. Terry's, but it is a good burger. And
we're gonna get eaten up alive for that, I know, but it's okay.
But it's a good burger. I also did eat at the Blue Iguana Cantina on day one, and it was good. The meat was flavorful. Yeah, it was good, and the tortilla was fresh. You had some tacos.
Like day 3, I think I had some tacos from there.
And you liked it?
Yeah, it was good. And while we were just talking about Guy's Burgers, let's talk about our biggest food disappointment of the Vista, and that is Guy's Pig and Anchor. We wanted this to be so good. It was hyped up so much all over YouTube videos and ship reviews, and we were so let down.
Yes.
And if you felt that way as well, let us know below, because I hope I'm not the only one that feels let down.
Well, we
aren't the only ones who feel let down.
I mean, I wasn't trying to base it off. I mean, obviously, we live in Austin, Texas, and this is one of the barbecue capitals of the country. And I knew it wasn't going to be as good as some of the places here, but I thought because with the name with like Guy's Pig and Anchor, it would be a lot better than what it was. And they're only during sea days. So you can only get it on sea days. And it's done kind of like buffet style. They bring it out and they put it in these dishes and they're on top of warmers. But
So the interesting thing about it is, like he just said, they're only open and available on sea days. But they're only available for like an hour and a half.
Or every 2 hours or something like that. And it's really short window.
Yeah. So, and yes, it has in your Carnival Hub app what times they are open. But let's be serious. When you're having fun on a cruise, you lose track of time. So whenever we would be on that side of the ship, we'd just kind of walk around the deck to see if they were open. 9 times out of 10, they were closed.
Yeah.
But on the day where we finally were like, this is it. We're going to have it this day. We like set a timer on our phone. We walked out there in time that when we knew it was open, and there was people everywhere. The lines were so long, and by the time we got our food and sat down, our meat was pretty ice cold.
Yeah,
and
I don't even think it was.
It wasn't even warm. Yeah,
maybe at best.
At best,
and they had the potato salad and the
potato salad and coleslaw, which is fine. That goes with barbecue.
Yeah. There, it's just like the meat is like smoked, and then you have like different varieties of barbecue sauce. There was like 4 different bottles. I think like a habanero, regular, smoked house one, and all that. But the barbecue sauce just didn't do it for me. It's it's probably yet again it's one of those mass quantity type of things that to keep it cost effective. I'm sure that they have to cut corners somewhere, but it just didn't do it for me. And I'm sorry to say this, but I was hoping to have a 5-star experience, and I would say it was a 2-star.
I agree. I was in, and for me, I like the barbecue sauce. Maybe it's just because of the one that I had. But the only saving grace was that I slathered that meat in barbecue sauce because it needed it. It was
And I had
dry
to do
and
that
cold.
too.
Yeah. I wanted that to be so good, man. Such a letdown.
Maybe next time.
Maybe next time.
Maybe next
So some of the other restaurants that are on board that we didn't eat at, so we're not going to really hit on them, but there's the steakhouse, there's Gigi's Asian,
And
there's
the Bonsai
the
Sushi.
Bonsai Sushi, and the Seafood Shack. Oh, but Pizzeria del Capitano.
Oh, yeah.
Always like that. That is our late night, 1 a.m., just gambled way too much money. Let's go get some pizza at the back of the ship. Never fails. I don't care what ship you're on. It is always fantastic.
Yes, and that was really good. So that was a nice little treat we looked forward to. We did have room service, like I stated, and we had breakfast in our rooms on port days, so we didn't have to worry about any of the lines.
Yeah.
Our room was on the first deck, so it was really easy to disembark or get to where we needed to go.
That did.
Overall, in the dining experience, I would give it anywhere from a 3 to 4 star.
Overall.
Only because there are so many varieties that we found ourselves going back to what worked for us. So whether it had been the Horizon Dining Room, picking what we did like at the marketplace, the Lido Marketplace buffet, or Guy's Burgers. There is a plethora amount of food on that ship, and you will not starve. And this is just, we both have different palates than some of you out there, and we understand that. This is our own personal review when it comes to the dining.
Yeah. Real quick, before we move on though, one thing that we forgot to say is something new that Carnival started doing with the pizzeria is, let's say you are gambling, or let's say you're watching a show and you don't feel like walking all the way to the back of the ship to grab a slice of pizza. From the Carnival Hub app, you are actually able now to request delivery of your pizza to anywhere you are on the ship. Yes, there is, I think, a $5 fee, but you're paying for convenience. I get that. I understand that. But it beats having to, hike it up 5 levels and 1,000 feet down the back of the ship. You can have that pizza delivered right to where you are on the ship. So that is a really cool thing that they started doing. We utilized it more than we needed to, but that's what it's there for.
Now we're coming to the part of the video of why we were on this cruise in the first place. The casino.
So we were on a premier cruise. So we gambled a decent amount of money on our last cruise. So Carnival was like, okay, we want you to come on board as a premier guest with quite a few perks. We got to board the ship early. We had some welcome gifts. We had some dedicated raffles and events that were only for premier guests. So let's start with the casino itself.
So the biggest letdown when you walk into the casino is it's small.
Yeah.
And when I say small, like for amount of people that Vista holds, that casino was really small. And with the amount of the premier cruisers that were on board, made it even smaller. It is lacking the machines, it's lacking the tables and all that. So once we found our machines we liked, we were fighting with 50, 60 other guests to get those machines. And
people
we were
would
finding ourselves
hide behind corners, waiting for someone to get up so you could snake that machine.
They would stand there for a long time. And we found ourselves, once we were able to secure our machine that we wanted to play at, we were sitting there and playing a long time. And also with the premiere, we had the free drinks.
Yes.
So the drinks on them, drinks on us package. And the biggest letdown with that is there's not a bartender making your drinks. It's actually your waiter or your waitress in the casino that's making your drinks in a back room. So it took a long time to get a drink. But speaking of free drinks, tell them about the Texas law.
Yes, so if you're departing out of Galveston And it's not just for the casino. If you do have the casino drinks on this package or any type of, drink package on the ship, keep in mind that day one, you do not get free drinks. I don't care if you paid for the unlimited, alcohol package, you're not getting unlimited free alcohol on day one. That kicks in at day 2, and that is just an international waters, Texas waters law. So keep that in mind, and make
So
sure
bring
that
your
that's worth it to you.
your 2 bottles of wine or your
Yeah.
2 bottles of champagne to get you through day one, or you can have one of those neat little carnival cocktails when you board the ship,
An
the
overpriced
fun in a
cocktail.
glass.
So he just talked about how our casino waiters and waitresses had to make our drinks, and how in size to the Carnival Vista, the casino was small. But I want to compare that to the Victory that we were on. So I feel like, yeah, the casino itself was probably bigger than the Victory, but the ratio of passengers to size of casino was way smaller than on the Victory. And on the Victory,
We didn't have any issue
No
on
issues
the, on
at
the
all.
Victory.
it was
None.
fantastic.
None.
Yeah,
Matter of fact, our parents, they were doing good.
they did. They won.
They
some
did
money.
good. They won the money we put in the machine. They won it. So,
And then on the Victory, it was the bartenders who were making drinks. I mean, we had drinks back to back to back on the Victory, and then on the Vista, we had to.
But we did befriend Makasha. She is an awesome waitress. So if you have her on a cruise ship, she's awesome. I think she's going to be on the Freedom November. She just did her last Vista cruise. She's on it now. I think she disembarks tomorrow. Or no, it was today. Today's
Okay.
Sunday. So yeah. But
She was fantastic.
yes.
I will say this though, and we noticed this on the Victory and on the Vista. They know your name. They know your drink. We ordered 1, maybe 2 drinks from Makasha. We didn't have to ask another time for a drink. They were just there
Yeah.
every time.
And she would
Yeah.
tell people if we were in a different section, she would tell them what we were drinking, and we definitely
We
had our
took care of
service.
them, though.
Yes, and that's what I'm going to tell you. If you want good service on anything, make sure you tip them because they are working long
Yeah.
hours, and if you make it worth their while, they will go
They
out
will take care
of
of you.
their way to take care of you.
Yeah.
So make sure you tip them because, I mean, a lot of this money helps go back to their home countries and helps their family out.
Even though you paid your gratuities, if you find someone who's going above and beyond for you, tip them.
But back to the casino. So it was lacking that we didn't win in any of the raffles, and we were there for all of the raffles.
So, and they do this strategically. So they have a raffle every 30 minutes. So they know that if you're not there, you don't win. So that makes everyone flock to the casino every 30 minutes. So A, they're keeping you in there spending money, and B, I think that's one other thing that made the casino just feel so crowded and just, I mean, it wasn't even enjoyable. And that's the whole reason why we took this cruise is because we got this fantastic casino package. And
you did hear they would announce probably a couple a day of big winners and stuff like that. And matter of fact, there was one guy, he won a couple of times.
Yeah.
Like he won in a massive amount over the 7-night cruise. But I'm sure he also put in a lot of money as well. So yeah, but I mean, the casino staff was great. Our casino host was great, and I'm sorry we couldn't remember his name, but he was really neat. He was
our casino
European.
manager. He was European. Our casino manager was fantastic.
She was.
We never encountered any staff that we had any complaints about. And I think
No.
that's across all the ships. I mean,
Yeah.
they work so hard. Oh,
Our room steward.
Yeah, we didn't hit on that.
He was
Fantastic.
awesome.
Yeah.
He was awesome. So the one thing I was going to talk about earlier about kids is one thing that we did notice in the casino at night. And when I say at night, early in the morning, maybe around 1, 2, 3 in the morning, kids would flock into the casino. And I don't feel like they should be in there. I feel like there were a couple of adults buying them drinks and stuff like that. So I think that's one part of the ship that kids should not be allowed in, period, and just keep it adults only.
Not just that, but there's so much like cigarette smoke going on. Like,
yeah. You know, they would play with the elevators. They would go to the ice cream machines.
it never failed once a day. We would walk into an elevator, and every single floor would be pushed. And if you've been on a cruise, you know that sometimes whenever you're on an elevator and you stop at every single floor, it can take you 15 minutes to get to your floor. And we even witnessed kids, as soon as the doors would open and they were about to get off, they would hit all the lights and then run away. It's like,
or they would just ride up and down. It was like a ride for them. I'm like, this is not the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland. I mean, it's an elevator. So yeah, I do understand the Carnival is the fun ship, and I do understand that there are going to be a lot of kids on board, and we love kids. It's just we are there for vacation as well. So on to the next subject. So talk about every night. What do we do?
We would go to the comedy club. They had some great performers on board, and they weren't long shows. They were,
30 minutes.
If that, yeah.
Maybe even 2.
But there's usually someone, I think there were 3 different comedians, maybe even 4 comedians over the course of the 7 days.
Yeah.
So
there was an older gal, and she had a foul mouth, and I loved her. There wasn't a show that we didn't like.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a comedian we didn't like. The only downfall I would say is the seating is very limited, and there are pillars, so it blocks the view of seeing on different disadvantages in the room.
Yeah,
you have the pillar there blocking,
and that goes for the main theater as well.
Yeah.
I think it was it the Liquid?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the way it was built, they have support pillars all throughout, that if you were sitting in a certain section, you had almost no view of the stage because there's a pillar in front of your face, and that goes for the stage area and for the comedy club. So, and we had also read reviews on that before we got on the ship. So it's just really interesting to us that they would do that.
And the seating was limited, so if you wanted a good seat, you needed to be there a good 45 minutes before, 30 minutes before to get a good seat. We didn't have that much time because we literally were planning our day the night before. They deliver your itinerary for the next day to your room, so we sit there with our highlighter.
Yeah.
We highlighted everything that we wanted to do, and then we put it in our phones. We did have a social media package, internet, and it worked great.
Yeah,
I mean, it did everything we needed it to do. We were going back and forth with internet package, and the internet was fine. I mean, we really had no problems with it. I was able to get on social media and post pictures and all that stuff for family and friends back home. So yeah, the downfall on that would probably be the limited seating and the pillars that were in the way blocking the view.
Yeah. But as far as entertainment goes, fantastic. 5 stars on the entertainment. But if you didn't get there and get a good seat, you may not be seeing much of anything.
So we want to talk about our ports of call. Now, before we go into what we did in each port, we did not book any excursions through Carnival.
No.
They were too overpriced, and we were taking our time. So we booked our cruise about 6 weeks before we set sail. And we took our time to do our research and decide what we wanted to do. So why don't you tell them what we did in Montego Bay?
So we arrived in Montego Bay, and we had already done our research. We knew we wanted to go to Doctor's Cave Beach. And I feel like 90% of people on our ship had the same idea. I think it's just what you do when you go to Jamaica. Is you go to Doctor's Cave Beach.
Or some people actually stayed on the boat. They didn't even.
There was a lot of people who didn't get off.
In Jamaica.
True. Yeah. So when you get outside of the port, there are taxis and I wouldn't call them taxis. They're buses lined up, ready to take you. They're ready to take you into town. So there are 2 seats on either side, and once you think the van is full, they start unfolding chairs from the floor and the side and line up. I mean,
whole bench.
You are sardine
all packed
can
in there.
So we all said, everyone on our bus was like, we are all going to Doctor's Cave Beach. Perfect, fine, let's go.
Yeah, we'll take you there. It's
yeah,
$7 or whatever, $5.
Yeah, so as soon as we get on the road, the story changes, and the woman who is giving the tour, not the driver, but the woman who's giving the tour, is telling everyone, oh, you don't want to go to Doctor's Cave Beach, you want to go to this other beach. It's further down the island, it's secluded, there's going to be no one there.
And there's good shopping, and you're going to get a better deal. The beaches are cleaner, the food is better, the liquor's good. Like, I mean, she was trying to sell it. You knew that she was probably going to get kicked back, or maybe it was a legit thing. We started to feel uncomfortable. And a lot of our seatmates and the fellow cruisers were starting to feel very uneasy.
And I feel like it wasn't just us. It's probably every single van behind us had the same, spiel about, let me take you where we think you need to go, which I never once felt unsafe.
No,
but it's like
not like that. But you don't want to be taken advantage of.
No,
and you don't want to get in a situation where they take us
somewhere
way off the off-beaten path, and we could see our cruise ship, so we were close enough to our cruise ship to where when it was time to go back, we would make it. And I didn't know if she was going to take us 2 hours down the road or where she was planning on taking us. But I do know that a lot of us spoke up, and there was a park on the side of the road before we even got to the shops and before we got to Doctor's Cave. And we had them drop us off on the side of the road, and then all of us in a group kind of went
caravan down to the beach. But it got to the point where not us, but a couple of people had to get firm with her and be like, no, you're not taking us there, you're taking us where
and we want to go. And she didn't want to do that, and so they let us out. But we were right there. I mean, it was just a couple of a little bit of probably 5-minute walk into the Dr. Cave Beach. And I think we paid,
it's a couple dollars to get in.
$5 a piece. So,
and we rented a beach lounger.
Yes.
We did not get an umbrella, but we should have, because we burned, and
I didn't put sunscreen on, and I'm really white, and it was bad because we were in the water and it was reflecting.
But we didn't feel it until day 2. We woke up and we were crispy. But the beach itself was beautiful. The sand, the water. We never once felt unsafe. And I feel like there's a lot of people out there who are going to tell you, oh, Jamaica's not safe. And I get that things happen everywhere, but I never once felt unsafe. I feel like if you act scared, that's when something's going to happen. I mean, the people that we met were fantastic. Yeah, they're going to try to sell you a lot of things. I mean,
but that's how they eat. I mean,
that's their job.
That's how they feed their family and stuff like that. So we did that in Montego Bay. Let's tell them. Why don't you tell them what we did in Grand Cayman?
Yes. So when we arrived in Grand Cayman, you actually don't dock at a port in Grand Cayman. So you're actually tendered in on a boat from the ship to the port. So we knew that 7 Mile Beach is where everyone wants to go, which is great. We actually went there as well. But first, we knew we wanted to snorkel in Grand Cayman. So, like he said, we never bought a single package excursion off of Carnival. We did our own research. And there is a fantastic little spot, probably about a 10-minute walk from the port, called Eden Rock Snorkeling Center. You go in. We brought our own snorkeling gear.
We did.
But we did rent life jackets and a locker from them. So all of our stuff was locked and secured. We never once felt like...
And it was a 10-minute walk.
Yeah.
And you could see our boat in the actual video and pictures and stuff. And they were really nice. It's a couple that owns the business, and I think they even live above it. And it's this nice house, and the bottom floor is their business, and they have changing rooms and all that stuff. So we already had our swim trunks on, and so we thoroughly enjoyed snorkeling. There was the coral reef underneath us, and the fish.
Yes, so that is a good point. If you are going to go out, and I do recommend it, keep in mind that right off of their snorkeling center it drops right into the reef. There is no beach whatsoever. So you're climbing down a ladder to get right into the water.
And we had to adjust to it because it was kind of cool. I mean, it was early in the morning.
But if it was your first time snorkeling, I mean, hang around up front, get comfortable before you go out there. Yeah. But I do want to let you know that there is no beach to ease your way in. You walk right into
the ladder that's right on the side of the retainer wall. Yeah.
So we snorkeled for a few hours, and then we walked back up, did the touristy shops, kind of bought some souvenirs for family, and then we caught a taxi
with other fellow cruisers that were shopping and stuff. So we caught a taxi with them, and we went to
7 Mile Beach. And
it was beautiful.
It is beautiful, but the reviews are not wrong. That beach is crowded. No matter what time of day, the drinks are expensive, and the beach is crowded. But I mean, that water was just stunning. Yeah,
perfect temperature, crystal clear. The pictures and the video does no justice for it. And snorkeling does no justice for it. And I've snorkeled before in Honolulu, and I thought it was beautiful. The only thing different with Honolulu was there was big turtles over the top of us and dolphins. That was the only difference. This, hands down, was the best experience, and I so thoroughly enjoyed Grand Cayman. Yeah. I really did. I want to go back there.
You can tell
airline flies there, so
you can tell it's a British island. The price difference between Jamaica and Grand Cayman was significant. Yeah. It's definitely a higher price,
but it wasn't expensive compared to Carnival's excursions. No. And you can definitely do both those things on your own and doing the shopping on your own. So our third final port of call.
So we sailed over to Cozumel, Mexico. So again, didn't buy anything through Carnival, but through word of mouth and Facebook groups and vlogs on YouTube, we knew that Mr. Sancho's was the place to go. Well, we like to procrastinate sometimes. So about a week before we set sail, we called up Mr. Sancho's. It was like, all right, here's the day we're coming in. And they said, oh yeah, we've been sold out for a long time. So we...
there was 4 cruise ships there.
Yeah.
When we docked, there was 4 cruise ships there. And yeah, that was an event getting off the boat because you walk through that main...
Oh my gosh, that port, the duty-free shop.
Yes. Oh.
Yeah. Ooh. And you're being sold heavily there. But, I mean, there are a lot of great things to buy.
Yes, and there are really good deals. Even in those shops, that feeds into all those little huts and stuff, and the shops were great.
Yeah.
But, so what did we end up doing?
So we found it's a hotel. It's called the Allegro.
It's all-inclusive.
It's an all-inclusive, but they sell day passes. So you pretty much have access to everything on the resort except for, obviously, you don't get a room. And there's one pool that is reserved for guests only, but aside from that, you have a full run of the resort, bottomless drinks. I think there was 4 pools plus a private beach with a volleyball court on it.
So in April, the beach in Cozumel has a whole bunch of seaweed at that time of year, or at least this past April they did. And they would try to rake it off the actual beach, but when we went into the water...
That was my only complaint with Cozumel. Well, we didn't know this at the time, but when we got back to the ship, we were, getting out of our swim attire. We were in the water, in the beach, in the ocean for maybe 5-10 minutes. Our pockets were full of seaweed. Like, he's not lying when they were saying they are having bad seaweed. And the staff apologized up and down, saying it's usually not like this. The water's usually pretty clear, but it was pretty muggy and seaweedy.
The drinks were good. The food was good. Yeah. It's a great alternative to Mr. Sancho's. It's just down the road from Mr. Sancho's. And the taxi ride was probably 20 minutes there and probably 30 minutes back. We did have a little bit of traffic. But no issue. There was taxi there waiting the minute we wanted to leave. And we left a little bit earlier because we wanted to do some things on the ship, but we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
So, but overall, I mean, the staff was great and everything. Like I said, the drinks were good. So yeah, I think that, and then we did do some more shopping once we got back and got some souvenirs.
One question that I had at almost every place we went to was, are there lockers here? And it's not always an easy answer. So let me give you a real quick rundown of that. At Doctor's Cave Beach, there are no lockers. I never felt like my stuff was going to get messed with, but I will say at Doctor's Cave Beach, it is open to everyone, including residents who live in Jamaica. So keep a close watch on it because there were a lot of kids that were just running around. And while I say I never felt unsafe, you have to just be vigilant.
And we had our cell phones and we had a camera that we did our videoing on and stuff like that, and gear and money and wallets and all that good stuff.
So at Eden Rock and the Grand Caymans for snorkeling, yes, there are lockers, and I mean, it's fantastic. Store all your stuff in there. 7 Mile Beach, no, there's not, unless you're at a private resort. And then in Cozumel, at the beach club, there was no lockers, but everyone is there for the same reason you are. No one's gonna mess with your stuff. Let your guard down, have fun.
Yeah. So I did mention that we wanted to get back to the ship early, and the reasoning why is because during sea days, we didn't have a chance to go and do the sky ride and do the slides. So we had made a plan that in Cozumel on the last day, we were going to get back to the boat early, and we were going to go ahead and do the slides and do the sky ride. So we headed back to the boat a little bit early, and there was no line for the slides, and there was like 4 people in front of us at the sky ride. So that was a good choice because during sea days, there was a long line and it would take forever to enjoy those.
Yeah, on our last vlog, it actually has us going down the slides and the full ride of the sky ride. So if you don't know what the sky ride is or never been on it, go take a look at that video.
So, but I do have a semi-fear of heights. So that was kind of, I was worried about it going into the sky ride, but you are perfectly fine. You're sitting in a seat, you're strapped in. There's all the metal contraption above you, and I felt safe the whole entire time. I do think, however, they are down right now because they are retrofitting them and stuff, and you have to understand that it's in the ocean air and things can corrode, so I'm sure that they're just changing out the parts and stuff to keep it a safe activity to take advantage of.
But we do suggest, if you're going to pick a day to do that, pick it on a day that it's a port day. Come back a little bit early. Because like you said, on our first 2 sea days, the lines were so long that it was just taking up so much time. It wasn't enjoyable. By the time you were to get up there, I mean, you were over it at that point. So I definitely do recommend that. Another activity that they had on the ship was a ropes course, which we didn't do, and I can kick myself for not doing it. I didn't realize we hadn't done it until it was too late. But yeah.
Well, one reason why I didn't do it is because I was actually in the boot the whole cruise, which kind of, I shouldn't say the whole cruise because I did have flip-flops on some days because I needed to let it breathe. But yeah, I had foot surgery, so yeah, I had to wear the boot. So I think that
it covers a lot of it.
Is there anything that we missed?
I don't believe so. I mean, overall, the experience was great. I would give our cruise from start to finish a 4-star. How about you?
I'll give it a 4-star as well.
Because while there were definitely some things that were lacking and some things that I really wish were better, there were other things that made up for it. I mean,
the service, I mean, the ship itself, and like I was saying earlier, the Horizon's pretty much the same ship. It's in the Vista class. The Panorama's coming out December 11th. It's in the same class. And then obviously the Vista we were on. And we're looking forward to the Mardi Gras because it's a whole new concept for Carnival. And it looks like it's going to be more geared towards like a Royal Caribbean or a Norwegian. I know that we want to sail on a couple of different other cruise lines. We were talking with some other fellow cruisers and they recommended a couple other cruise lines, but I mean, Carnival is the fun ship, and we really enjoyed our first cruise with Carnival. We enjoyed this one. Captain Vinny was our captain. He's the main captain of the Vista ship, and then our cruise director was Matt Mitchum, and he was awesome. All the ladies love him, and Guys adore him. I don't know.
But he is
that was
actually
a
moving,
song from the 90s.
He's moving over to the
Mardi
Mardi Gras.
Gras.
So
Yeah,
he won't be on the
so
Vista
it's
for
nuts.
too much longer, but yeah.
And I actually think he's on vacation right now. So if you're selling on the Vista soon, I don't think he goes back until next month.
Yeah.
Or maybe at the end of this month, September. All right, guys. Well, I feel pretty confident, and we had talked about everything we set out to talk about. And I'm sorry it's long, but
there's a lot to get through.
We wanted to be really thorough and give our point of view, because you just see tidbits of stuff. And like you said before, go watch our video.
Yeah.
It's not the best camera because we are using the same camera for the water.
Yeah,
We had no idea
we wanted to start vlogging.
But not just that, we didn't want to have all this equipment. We were going to take our camera and stuff like that, but it was just way too much.
But if there's anything that we missed, or if you guys have sailed on the Vista before, let us know in the comments below some things that you liked and disliked.
Yeah, your pros and cons. Put it in the comments down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up.
And
make sure you subscribe and ring our bell, so you can get all the updates. We don't know, we don't have a rhythm for putting the videos out, so if you hit the bell, at least you'll be notified when we do put out a new video.
But I will say that Ryan is headed on a trip to Long Beach tomorrow, so he will be recording, so sometime soon we'll get a new one up, hopefully by the...
Probably, I'm thinking Wednesday.
By Wednesday
we are going to have it out Wednesday. Yeah, so I'll be in Long Beach, and it's my first time going to Long Beach, and I'm going to take y'all along with me.
Yeah. Have a good one, guys.
Have a good time.
Good night.